Hello everybody, Brad Johnson here. I'm happy to bring another exciting video to all of you. And what we're going to be talking about in this video is the Akashic and Intelligence dimensions. So we're going to start off firstly with the dimension that, of course, on this YouTube channel I've talked a lot about, and that is the Akashic Dimension. Now, this doesn't always relate to a specific plane, because we can find the Akashic Dimension through this physical plane, we can find it through the astral plane, and we can find it through the causal plane. So the physical, the astral, and the causal are all linked up through the Akashic Dimension. So here's the causal, here's the astral, and here's the physical. Now, everything that comes through these planes intersect, connect, and are stored as records of space, because that's basically what Akash means. It's space, it's ethers. So when we're looking into the Akashic Dimension, we're looking into universal memories. That every cell within your body has memory. That every molecule has memory. That every atom has memory. It all has contained energy that has a specific imprint tracking people, places, events, and things. So when you're looking at the Akashic plane, you're accessing universal memories. You're going into the Akashic Dimension, or as I've talked about with the causal plane as well too, the abundance dimension, which still relates to the Akash. So the abundance, the Akashic Dimension, it's where all our records are kept. So again, as we understand that everything is now, and here's another thing I want to bring up as well too, is guys, there is no such thing as now moments. There is no such thing as nows. I hear a lot of people in spiritual circles and the New Age circles and say, oh, you know, in previous nows, I did this. Guys, there's no such thing as previous nows. Now is not a plural, because there is no such thing as a nows. There's no such thing as now moments. There's only this one infinite now moment. That's it. No nows. Just one infinite now moment. This is why when I often conclude a video, I say, I will speak to you again in another perspective of the now. So, what am I talking about when we're looking into how the Akash works? Well, we can look into this as a noosphere. Sorry for my sloppy handwriting. Let me try writing that again. But a noosphere could also be referred to as a now sphere. Okay? A noosphere is the idea of everything that is contained within all of creation, here and now, in this very one infinite now moment. So, with you as a perspective here on Earth, there's one tiny little perspective. And there's a perspective of you here 5 years younger, 10 years later. Other planets, other dimensions, other realms, etc. Other people that are here as well too. Different places, different events, different situations taking place, etc., 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 etc. You getting the point? And what we are doing is through our own magnetics, through our own consciousness, through our own awareness, through our own relationships, we are intersecting through the illusion of continuity, the feeling that we are streaming, that we're experiencing this moment to moment, second to second, minute to minute, hour by hour, day by day, week by week, month by month, year by year, etc. So we are in a noosphere. You can also refer to it as a nowsphere, right? If you want to use it that way as well too. But a noosphere is the common term for this. Okay, and it can also refer to the idea of a noosphere as Knoasphere, or again, Knowsphere, a noosphere. So we can know through spirit everything that exists within the sphere of creation. The sphere of creation is always being documented. It's always being recorded. Your thoughts are always being recorded. Your actions are always being recorded. What you say is being recorded. What you do is being recorded. Who you interact with is being recorded. Your places, events that you see, experience, it's all being recorded through the Akashic Dimension. That's what the Akashic Records is. It's a library. It's a gigantic library where every person, place, event, thing, looking at it on a collective scale as well too, is contained like a gigantic vault. And everything is recorded. Nothing is ever overlooked. It's not like the universe is doing this. Say, no, I'm going to pretend you weren't in a car crash. I didn't see that. I'll erase that from the Akashic Records. Nope. Can't be done. Everything truly is public knowledge. Everything truly is universally accessible to us. But what is preventing us from going into those aspects of awareness has to do with a lack of rapport. So for you to have rapport, for you to have relationship, is you being able to look at all these different facets of yourselves, of others, of other events, of other places, of other things. All of that comes together because we have rapport in the noosphere. And because we have rapport in the noosphere, there are certain increments pertaining to the Akasha that we're able to access. Okay? So this is what I term as the Akashic Dimension. You can also call it the Abundance Dimension. We can also call it the Book of Life. All the Book of Life is doing is it's helping you to look more into the streaming of your own, you could say, records, the streaming of your own experiences, the streaming of yourself as a soul. It's like a book of soul, you could say as well too. A book of life or a book of soul, but it's more of a complete version of the Akashic Records for yourself, or if you have permission, for another person that you can look at. So you can look at the Book of Life or the Book of Soul. You can even look at the Book of God as well too. That too is available. But looking at yourself as a God, right? Not looking at the God's book, but looking at yourself as a God book. Yes, that is possible as well too. So this is the Akashic Dimension. This is the first thing that I wanted to talk about because I want you guys to understand the difference when I start speaking between the Abundance Dimension or the Akashic Dimension and the Intelligence Dimension. So I'm going to take a moment now and clear all this off. Okay, so we looked into the Akashic Dimension. Well, what about the Intelligence Dimension? Brad, are you saying there's something above the Akashic Records, above the Akashic Dimension? Yes, I am. Because this is a dimension I play with a lot, with spirit. Okay? This is higher than the Akashic Records. This is higher than the Book of Life, or the Book of Soul, or the Book of God. When you're working with the Intelligence Dimension, you're working with perfect blueprint. It is a field of perfection. It is a pure field of intelligent infinity. So I'll put I here, representing intelligence, and the infinity sign. Not a very good one, but I'll do my best here. Yeah. Can't make infinity signs today. It's kind of interesting. There we go. Okay, so intelligent infinity or infinite intelligence. That's the field that we are working with when we go into the intelligence dimension. You go into the intelligence dimension when you follow the Creator's path. So we're not looking at memories anymore. We're, of course, still existing in an Akashic field, in an Akashic dimension. That's part of our reality. That, again, is part of creation, the Noosphere, in that way. But when we're looking into the Creator's path, we access the intelligence dimension. And this is what I teach my spirit ambassadors to access, is to access the intelligence dimension. Well, what can you do in the intelligence dimension? Well, as mentioned, it's the perfect blueprint of all life, which means those who are extremely adept in the intelligence dimension can actually create life. Now, of course, I'm not even there yet, not even close, but this is what we could say as going up into the higher scales. When you're moving up into the intelligence dimension, you are able to work with many octaves of reality pertaining to blueprint, which means you can completely refine your body. In certain ways in the Akashic records, we can do that to a certain degree as well too. But what you're doing in the intelligence dimension is you're actually accessing the blueprint of perfection as it relates to all life. So you say you can create life into the through the intelligence dimension into physical reality. Yes, through a great deal of advanced discipline, you can certainly do that. You can completely influence your environment. So here's a tree, here's your house, here's your little car. Kind of a crappy car, but it's still a car. The garage, little door there. You can completely influence your environment. So let's say, for example, that this tree is very sick. It's getting sick. A lot of its leaves are falling away. One who has completely dedicated themselves with mental discipline into the intelligence dimension can go up to that tree, place their hands upon it, and say, I will make you well again. And now spirit works through them, and within seconds, minutes, hours, this tree is completely replenished back into its original design. So you can't do that in the Akashic records, but you can do that in the intelligence dimension. So we are assigning the perfect blueprint through command as we work with spirit, and we are able to apply those codes, and now within seconds, minutes, hours, or maybe even a matter of days, the tree starts to feel better again. It's returned back into its own state of prime, in its own prime state. So, in order for this to happen, you need to work with spirit. So here you are, and spirit's light is upon you. Spirit has agreed to work with you. Because if we are looking here at the pyramid to which all life, to which all energy exists, this is where spirit remains. Spirit is here at the top of the pyramid. Spirit, God, Creator. And now, here you are, down at the bottom of the pyramid, a soul that is a child of God. And now you are receiving Spirit's light placed upon you. And now you can now start to work with Spirit relating to the intelligence dimension, because now you just started to touch it. You've started to touch the intelligence dimension. You're able to make all of your illnesses dissolve. You are able to clear away all of your karma without having to look at it so deeply, because there's been a lot of work that you have personally done. Your karma clears away. Your conflicts clear away. Your diseases clear away, all through a simple intention. Diseases are gone. Again, conflicts, emotional, mental conflicts, physical conflicts, they're gone. When you allow yourself to commit, dedicate yourself to the Creator's path, and you say, Spirit, I am here. I wish to do your will. It's not just saying those words, say, okay, well, Brad said this, so this must work. No. You have to see this. You have to feel this through your heart. Because if this is truly sincere for you, if up here is the intelligence dimension, and here you are, just completely willing to give yourself to the Creator, well, there's a guardian here upon this veil. And we can understand that guardian as the Holy Spirit, the Spirit of truth, right? The guardian spirit, whatever you wish to refer to it as. And that spirit looks into you, looks into your heart, looks into your mind, looks into your very soul, and will know if you are indeed genuine and authentically expressing yourself to start walking the Creator's path. And if the Holy Spirit, Spirit of truth, determines that you are indeed worthy, Spirit will be placed upon you. And as Spirit will be placed upon you, you're now able to work with the intelligence dimension. So now you're feeling Spirit working upon you, and now you can start to make a great deal of improvements within your life. You can go over to other people. You can help them out. You are doing compassionate service, and you're helping them out with their lives as well too. So the intelligence dimension is truly a dimension of great compassion, a dimension of great service, service to others mentality. That's really what it's all about. Yes, there's some aspects of it that you can work with for yourself to improve yourself, but in majority, those who access the intelligence dimension really are committed overall to helping others out, to wanting to be able to offer service to them. So whether it's healing, whether it's information, knowledge, etc., it's all here in the intelligence dimension. This goes beyond knowledge. This goes beyond memory. This goes beyond information, because that's the Akashic records. We're looking at the Akashic. We're looking at information. Another name for the Akashic records is an information field. You can refer to it as an information field because you're accessing. You're accessing memories. You're accessing perspectives, people, places, events, and things. And you can go into the Akashic records. You can look into other versions of yourself, but you have to work in aligning yourself to truly become that other version of yourself. So if you see a version of yourself who's very successful, is very kind-hearted, very compassionate, you have to become yourself for you to become that person. That's what the Akashic records does. So it's like looking into a mirror. So here's you, maybe grumpy face, and here's your other version, super happy. So you have to change your vibration, your alignment, your frequency, and become that happy person. And that's how the Akashic records works. You're embodying that other version of yourself because you see yourself as that person. I'm kind-hearted, I'm loving, I'm compassionate. So I'm going to feel that, I'm going to stay in that feeling or feelings, and I'm going to make that version of myself me, because that's who I feel I am. Good, you can do that. So that is you making a shift there. Now, does that shift everything of yourself? No, because you may still have other particular conflicts that you're going through, but you're aligning to a specific emotional energetic that says, I'm going to be Mr. or Mrs. Happy Face. And now you're going to start taking it on. And as you continue to work with that energy, yes, there will certainly be changes taking place within you as well too. Is that the same as the intelligence dimension? No. You don't have to do this in the intelligence dimension, okay? Because what you're doing is you're gradually shifting to become honest, compassionate, and truthful. That's what's required to follow the Creator's path. That's what God wants out of you. That's what the Mother, the Father, God wants out of you. is for you to become compassionate, is for you to offer yourself, is to be of service to others. And as you do that, spirit light comes upon you because you're being authentic, you're being truthful to yourself. You really want to seriously commit yourself to the love of others, but more importantly than that, you want to serve God. You want to serve the Creator. You want to serve the God. Okay, because that's where the God resides, is right at the top of the pyramid, relating to life, creation, our own consciousness. It is the greatest intelligence there is. It is infinite intelligence. It is intelligent infinity. That's the intelligence dimension. So to work with this field is to walk the Creator's path, is to work with the God, is to work with the Creator, is to work with the Mother, the Father. You show that you have so much commitment, that you love the Creator with every fiber of your being, with your entire soul, with all that you are. And you are seriously, authentically, genuinely following that Creator's path. And as you start to do this, the intelligence field is now coming into your life. And now you are able to command intelligence. You're now able to command this dimension. So Brad, let me get this straight. You're saying that what I have to do here is kind of shift myself into more of this honest, loving, compassionate, and truthful person, right? Yes. Then what you're saying is I need to connect more to the God. I need to connect more to the Creator in an authentic, honest expression. Yes. And that I vow to serve the Creator. I work with the Creator's will and give all of my love, all of my heart, all of my mind, all of my soul, every fiber of my being to the will of the Creator and love the Creator unconditionally. Yes. And then you're saying that when I do that, I can command the intelligence dimension to do absolutely anything I wish. Yes. So what you're saying is the intelligence dimension becomes my servant. Yes. It's exactly what's being said. The intelligence dimension is now bowing its knee and giving itself to you. How may I serve you? Because God is now giving you the quote-unquote keys, the access to the intelligence dimension, and now you're able to work with the blueprints of perfection, the blueprints of intelligent infinity and infinite intelligence, where life is created, where the blueprints to every form of life is accessible, where through your own intention, you can bring something back to life. You can start seeing a dying tree here or a dying plant and you bring it to life. It's not to say that you see a dead person, you're trying to bring them back to life. No, because that's free will. But when you're working with your environment is completely 100% open and unconditional to whatever it is you wish to bring forward to it. Even if that's death and destruction, the environment's not going to stop that. But this again relates to the idea of compassion, of love, of service. And so you can revitalize that tree. You can revitalize these bushes. If your dog or your cat is sick, you can revitalize them. Because now you're looking into the depths about how life works and looking at it simplistically. And through those simplistic commands, you are working with life to helping to bring life back into its original perfection blueprint. Beginning with yourself, beginning with others, etc. Even if they don't buy in to what you're saying. You're saying you're accessing some sort of intelligence dimension because you're giving yourself over to the God, yes. And the idea of the intelligence dimension, that is God's energy, is now serving me. Which means the intelligence dimension becomes your servant, becomes your benevolent slave. Right? Some people don't like that word. Right? If I write the word slave down here, people may just start to cringe. Ugh, right, I really don't like that word. Understandable, I get it. But it goes back to what Adronis has said as well too. What you limit upon yourself through the specificity and conditions of terms will also in turn limit your own perception of reality. Which means that as soon as you put a label upon a word or phrase that you don't prefer, you are limiting your reality because you're only seeing it as black or white. If I see the word love, feels good. If I see the word hate, right? But if I'm good, tranquil with love, and if I see hate right here, I'm still tranquil with it. I'm not affected. My perspective expands. My experiences expand to the point where I go beyond perspective and I go beyond experience. Because now, when you're in the intelligence dimension, perspectives and experiences are useless. They don't even need to be there anymore. Give everything to God. Work with everything, for everything is God. It's God now. You don't like something, give it to God. You want to improve something, let God come in to help you. It's all Creator, it's all God, it's all Spirit. Everything that you do, everything that you say, every action that you take, every thought you make, every step forward, it's all God. It's all the will of the God, of your heavenly parent that is working together with you. And this is why the Spirit of Truth has created this little hole in the veil so you can step up here. So you're in the intelligence dimension. And again, there is a very large scale, you could say. Again, representing the octaves, moving up further and further and further. And the deeper you work with the intelligence dimension, the more that you're able to do things just like Jesus was able to do. Everything that Jesus was able to do when he was alive on this planet had to do with the intelligence dimension, had to do with the intelligence field. So everything that Jesus did, you can do. It was even through Jesus' own words and saying, everything that I do, you will do, and greater than I. Can we imagine that? That's from one Christed being. Imagine if we have a few Christed beings, right? A dozen Christed beings, 100 Christed beings. Look what just one did, right? I've talked about this before. What one Christed being did for this planet impacted the entire planet. He became the most popular person in our history because of one Christed being. So, this is talking to you about when you are moving into Christ, you're moving into the intelligence dimension. You are moving into perfection blueprint. The idea of your old ego, your old personality, that starts to become transcended. It's like luggage that you're leaving behind and now you're walking away. Does that luggage exist? Yeah, in some dimension. But you're not in that dimension anymore. You've climbed upwards. You've soared up to the top, relating to the intelligence dimension. Now, this is what I have taught my students to do, is that I work in initiation to apply spirit light upon them because Spirit agrees to work with them. And now they are able to work with Spirit. And now they are able to work with healing themselves, with healing others. They're able to access, pure intelligent information. I would say more so intelligent blueprints. They can also work with the Akashic records in this state as well too, right? You can certainly work with the Akasha, but now you're working with the intelligence, right? So Akasha is down here. Okay? And all you're doing with the intelligence dimension is you're accessing perfection blueprint, blueprint of perfection. You're able to completely revitalize yourself. You're able to completely revitalize your environment. You're able to help others and revitalize them. A lot of it comes from healing. A lot of it, again, like I said, intersects together with the Akasha. And so you're able to tap into the higher domains of that dimension for information, for insight, for looking at different versions of yourself, etc. You can do that, right? So those who have touched the Akashic plane, it's great. It's a powerful dimension. I know that. I've done hundreds and hundreds of Akashic readings over the past several years. And now when you move up into the intelligence dimension, you are becoming one with God. You're at one-ment with God. You're now able to connect with God. You're able to connect with God's angels. You're able to connect with God's Spirit. And now you are again like this Christed being coming upon this planet and now being able to implement through commanding the intelligence dimension to work together with completely revitalizing whatever it is you wish, to have God work together with you and follow the will of the God. And now you no longer have your own aspect of human personality anymore. Your personality is still there, but you're taking these steps further up and connecting with Spirit. And now every time you're walking, Spirit is walking. Every time you're talking, Spirit is talking. Every time you're doing work, Spirit is working. Right? So this is where the intelligence dimension comes together. You are touching this field. The minute you touch this field, everything changes. Spirit now again bends its knee. Brad, or viewer who's watching this YouTube video, how may I serve you? I am giving you the keys to heaven. I'm giving you the codes to heaven. I'm giving you the blueprints to heaven so that you can truly create heaven on earth. And that's the idea. To create heaven on earth is to bring perfection onto earth, because heaven would simply be the symbology of the infinite, the symbology of perfection, of divinity. And you're bringing it onto the planet because you have now been given the keys. The Spirit of Truth has looked at you and said, you may proceed. You can go into the intelligence dimension. You can now start to work with God. You can work with Spirit. You can work with the Creator. You can work with the Mother, the Father. And when that happens, it's incredible. This is exactly how I've created the healing code cards. The healing codes are intelligence blueprints from the intelligence dimension coming into those cards. And when people start to look at it for 60 seconds, they start to put it upon their body for 60 seconds, they charge it with their water for 60 seconds, and they start to drink it down, sip by sip. Within minutes, they start to feel better. Because I am working with Spirit, I am commanding the intelligence energy to say, okay, here's this virus, here's this parasite, here's this ailment, here's this physical chronic condition. Eliminate all of it. Okay. And now people start to feel that state of elimination. The only reason something hangs around is because they are still identifying with that ailment. They're not willing to let it go. And that's the only thing that can hold you back. Spirit will not take away what you feel you are holding on to based upon identity or cherishing. Okay? Spirit will also do no harm. The intelligence dimension is an unconditionally loving field, and it will not do harm to anybody. So, like I said, when people have been using the healing code cards, it's been amazing. I've seen people talk about how they've been able to heal unbelievable things overnight. Their asthma, old back pains, headaches, migraines, the list goes on. But basically, when you start to go up into the intelligence dimension, it will always be of service to you. It will never do any harm to anybody. Spirit will simply say, no, if you try to harm anybody with the intelligence dimension, it can't be done, because all that's up here is perfection blueprint. So you can't harm anybody with the intelligence dimension. It's all about helping, assisting, serving in that way. And this is, again, what I have done through the healing code cards when I work with people, when I come on the webcasts on Fridays and start helping to clear away debris that people are facing. It's all intelligence dimension. That's Spirit working together with me through this body, through this vessel, and helping other people in that way. So this is something that you can access. But again, like I said, you have to go through this trek. You have to make shifts. You have to be honest. You have to be authentic. Right? That is, quote unquote, the uninitiated path. Okay, if I was not, quote unquote, if I was not, quote unquote, initiating you, and you wanted to follow your path to the Creator's path, you got to make this transition. You got to go through all of these different transitions of mind, of body, of emotions, of identity, and end up here and start working together, willing to change. willing to open yourself up, willing to advance, willing to better yourself, willing to let go, release, move up into the love frequency, and now starting to rain down all that pure love upon all this conflict, so that pedestal that you're on starts to raise up higher and higher to the sky. This is all I did. All I did was, I was serious about completely transitioning all of these personality conflicts, these emotional identities, these mental states that were causing me to be confined. I had to look at them. And I had to say, all I really need to do is bring so much love to them that those borders and barriers start to melt away. And year after year after year after year, after 11 years, this is where I am right now, walking the Creator's path, working together with God, because the one I serve the most, absolutely first, is God. That is who gets all of my love, who gets all of my energy, who gets all of my heart, who gets all of my soul. Secondly, it's others. Okay. Thirdly, it's me. Right? I'm, of course, still working on that a little bit, because sometimes this here shifts around a little bit. But nonetheless, God, the Creator, the Mother, the Father, that's what gets priority. That's what gets the love, the awareness, everything that represents me comes to God. And sometimes, again, these fluctuate, but that certainly is the intention of me wanting to work together with others, creating projects, creating these cards, doing these events, helping out with sessions, whatever it is, and just being able to be of service as much as I can. And again, like I said, it's probably like 60-40. 60% others, 40% myself, roughly. They can fluctuate here and there. But again, if you can follow a particular list like this, right, where God receives all of your love, receives all of your soul, receives every fiber of your being with your pure dedication to God. I'm not talking about the religious versions of God. I'm talking about the true God, the true Creator. Then that is what's going to bring you further and further up into the intelligence dimension. You're in meditation, all you're thinking about is God. You're in meditation, all you're thinking about is serving the Creator. You're in meditation, all you're doing is offering prayer, offering affirmation, mantra to God, right? Everything becomes God, because we're all God's children. Every single one of us, every soul has come from God. Like I said, I've seen my soul born. I saw exactly how it was born. And it was the most beautiful, magnificent experience I've ever seen. And I can't show that to you guys, because that's an imprint of my soul showing itself back to me. You have to see for yourselves just exactly how your soul was born. And when you see it, it changes you. It shifts you. It moves you into such beauty, into such appreciation for God. We again take this reality for granted. We look at life, we look at reality, we look at this dimension, and we say, oh, okay, yeah, stuff's here, etc., etc. But really, do you understand? When you look at the smallest grain of sand, do you understand exactly how that got there? Do you understand exactly how that was created? That was God. When you're looking at yourself here, you're looking at yourself in the mirror. You're looking at nature. You're looking at others. All of it is God. There is nothing that is not God. For the aspect of what is created is all God. And then when you become God yourself, you become a God, you are now realizing how these blueprints come together. I'm still not at that state, of course. I'm still understanding how these blueprints come together as well, too. But nonetheless, you are starting to work together in the higher levels of the intelligence dimension to realize how life works. Because as I've said, right now, all of us are inside God's universe. This is God's universe. This is why when you transition, you have the option to leave this universe. You can go back into your own universe as well, too. But when you are incarnate, when you are in life, you're understanding how the life blueprint works. It's kind of like, in that way, a great chef, so to speak. A chef has to understand a lot about ingredients. They have to understand how every particular form of importance of ingredient in its precise measurement can create a wonderful dish. Well, that's all we're doing. We're becoming these magnificent divine cooks, these magnificent divine chefs. We're seeing how the recipe of life is born, how it is done, how it is implemented, how it is portioned, how it is balanced to bring about the most divine experience, the most divine feast of creation possible. That's what we're doing. We're becoming these divine chefs, these gods in training, to understand, well, here's the portions, here's the ingredients, here's the recipe, here's how this was made, here's how this is done, here's why this is here, here's why that's here, etc. And you start working with the universe, and the universe teaches you everything. And then will come a point where you will be graduated into a god of your own universe, and you'll start to create life inside that universe, because you're a masterful divine chef who now understands the recipe of life. And now you'll be able to put that into your universe. You will be the god of your own universe. And that again will go up into your heavenly parent as well too. Because now the heavenly parent will look at that and just be very, very happy, very loving, and saying, look what my child has done. My child has now started to create grandkids, in that way you could say. Grandchildren's souls, right? And so they continue to evolve as well too. So it all comes back to God. Always God's children. And always understanding the recipe, the idea of the ingredients, the blueprints of creation. And that is working together with the intelligence dimension. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll speak to you again in another perspective of the now. Namaste, and may it be well with you.